Morning everyone. I don't know if you saw my video yesterday afternoon about raising frequencies, but I'm going to do a few little follow-up balances on that because it was such a big one for me when I was sitting with Gabrielle yesterday morning, talking about the third, fourth, fifth dimension, going from the third to the fourth to the fifth dimension, which so many people are sort of traveling between those dimensions over the last year as people wake up and see big pictures and all sorts of things, and just sort of are aware of things that they've never been aware of before. I'd never heard of Georgia Guidestones 18 months ago. There's so much, that's not even a third, fourth, fifth dimension, although I imagine those creatures are probably fourth dimension. But anyway, it's sort of interesting that then when I got home, several things happened on Facebook that were talking about frequencies. There was a kinesiologist I know in New Zealand who was talking about frequencies, and I just wanted to, and this is the thing about kinesiology, and this is the thing about life, and this is the thing about everything we know, is that we attract what we're putting out. So when we're fearful and angry, we're more likely to attract fearful and angry people, unless our soul is ready to balance that out, in which case we might actually be at a point where the love and peace and grace allows something into our world that allows that anger, frustration, rage, fear to raise. But when we're putting out the energy of a particular frequency, that's what we're attracting. So if we have a poverty consciousness, we're likely to attract more of that. If we have a my bosses are always bully frequency, then we're more likely to attract that. If we have I'm always with guys who beat me up, or girls who take my money, or whatever, if we have a belief system where our intellect and our conscious brain believes that we're not worthy, that we've got things that we've never dealt with properly, then we are probably going to attract more of the same patterns so that our soul can learn. We're here on the planet for our soul learning. And when I'm doing kinesiology and I'm finding either genetic past lives or karmic past lives, then what I'm or finding twin souls, from a past life, what we're doing is getting the energy that's out of balance in this life, because let's face it, kinesiology doesn't find something that's in balance. That's not what it finds. Kinesiology, and I'm sure many other healing modalities as well, they're looking for something that's out of balance. So if I say, I am Madonna, I am 100% love, loving and lovable, and if my conscious brain, my unconscious brain, my subconscious brain, if my lizard brain, if my 70,000 programs stuck in my subconscious brain don't believe that, then just saying that will cause an unlock. That's the frequency. It's the disbelief. It's the lack of trust. It's the lack of safety around love, or being lovable, or being loving. So frequency is everything. And I was thinking that when past lives show up, it's usually because there's a connection to something we're feeling in this life that was connected to that particular past life that still hasn't been healed or resolved. When we are attracting people into our life in 2021 that are no longer serving our belief systems, maybe our belief systems haven't moved on from when we thought less about ourselves. So frequency is everything. And frequency it's a huge thing on the planet. So I think we've chatted before about there's been really amazing studies with meditation and prayer, where when one person in a street meditates or prays or simply finds that frequency of love, connectedness, beautiful energy on the planet, and feels it, that energy can spread out to the neighborhood around it. And it depends on how many people are doing it as to how far that energy spreads. Amazing studies out there in relation to prayer and meditation. Amazing studies in relation to peace and gratitude and love and how they affect the people around us. About 10 years ago, I did a training module called Heart Healing. And it was basically a process where it's like a big, long process in kinesiology, takes a couple of hours. But it's about looking at the frequency of the belief system. So just say, for example, I say, I am Madonna, I am love, I am loving, I am lovable. And just say that unlocks, and my brain doesn't consciously believe that, even though I think I do. But if it's an unlock, there's something in there that the brain doesn't believe. So in the heart healing process, what you then do is go find where that energy sits on the map of consciousness. And this is why I think there's such big trauma and there's so much PTSD on the planet at the moment, is because the planet is, there are so many people waking up and being alive and being vibrant and choosing sovereignty and choosing their bodies, their choices, their life, that it's hard for the energy of the planet to stay suppressed in anger, rage, frustration, fear. It's harder. But there's a huge shift going on the planet, so that feels incredibly uncomfortable for many of us on a daily basis. And yet it's easy. It's easy to go back down into anger. It's easy to go back down into fear. And it's about bringing yourself back into center, ask what your soul needs. What does my soul need in this now moment? And quite often it's peace, it's love, it's time, it's connection, it's hugs. So we need to start paying attention to our souls. What does my soul need in this now moment? Especially when you're attracting something that doesn't feel right, when you're trying to get above the rage, above the anger, above the fear, but we keep being drawn back down into it. What are those subconscious patterns there in your past that have the frequency that keep dragging us back into those base emotions that don't raise our vibration? So on the map of consciousness, shame is down around a frequency of 20. Anger is around 30. So it's all these negative emotions until you hit about neutral, which is around 220. And then above that, you've got love at around 500, and enlightenment is 1,000 and above. So the frequencies we want to be sitting at is that over 200. We want to be able to bring ourselves back down to neutral, to keep ourselves safe. It's okay to feel angry. It's bloody annoying on the planet at the moment. But it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do your body any good. It doesn't do your relationships any good. But anger is a really useful emotion. A lot of the time with anger, we get stuff done. I was going to say I love being angry, but that's not true. I love the energy I get when I'm so pissed off at something that I actually go and get something changed or something done or something shifted within my world, because I've been so angry about something that I've actually gone and done something about it. Whereas depression, which is anger turned inward, is useless. We don't get much done. Depression, it suppresses those feel-good hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. It suppresses them. It doesn't want us to go out there and get stuff done. So we don't. Anyway, that's a few thoughts on frequency this morning. And I just think, fill your space with love. Fill your world with love. Who's in your world that you could connect with today? Who's in your world who you would love to give a hug to today? Energetically, if you can't get to them because the crazy is crazy, energetically connect with them. Connect with them. Send them that soul energy of love, of peace, of grace. And have a beautiful, blessed day. Take care.